Hello, everyone. So today we are going to talk about how to write a book. I know a lot of you are interested in just knowing how do I write my book, and another edge that I'm going to be putting on this topic is how do I write a book that people are actually searching for, or they're already searching for. So we're going to be covering that today. So the first thing that I would suggest, we're going to be covering three main topics, and the first thing in terms of writing a book is we are going to define your book's purpose. That's the first thing that we need to do. And then the next thing is I'm going to show you how to make your table of contents, and then we will refine your table of contents. And then I'm also giving another free lesson after this, which is how to write the rest of your book after you've got this main shell done for your book. So really exciting. All right, so the first thing that we need to do as an author, so we are writing a book, and in this book, okay, how do I write this? I might have an idea of what I want to write. I may have a topic that I know that I want to write, but you might not know the perspective that you're going to be coming from in the book. And so the most important thing that you need to have is a vision for your book, and you need to be able to know where you're going to take your reader. And so the first thing that we want to do is first we want to find out, who are we writing to? Who is this book for? So the first thing you want to find out is, or to think about, is who is your target audience? And so maybe your target audience is millennials. Maybe it's, men aged 18 to 45, women. It could be moms. It could be people who are going through a particular life phase. And so that is something that you want to define. You may not have that defined right away, but you will have that defined sooner or later. Next, this is the piece that will help you to write your book. You need to come up with what is the transformation that your reader is going to experience when reading your book. So there has to be a change in someone's life. Whether you are writing a nonfiction book or a fiction book, there is a purpose for that book being written. And so we're going to focus on the nonfiction based process. But the question that you want to answer is, I want to take my reader from this to this. So at the beginning, before even reading your book, they may not have the knowledge that you're about to impart to them. And so, just for an example, maybe I want to make a dog training book. And so, I could say that I want to take my reader from not knowing how to train a dog to having a well-trained dog. So I have a very particular purpose for my reader by the end of that book. I know where I want to lead my reader to. So just notice that there is a difference between having just an overall topic. Say you want to write about home staging. Well, if you want to make sure that you know very particularly, what do you want the transformation for that reader to go through regarding that topic? So where do you want to take someone? So again, if we're writing about dog training, I want to be able to take my reader from not knowing how to train a dog to having a well-trained dog. So we know where we're taking them. And then answering this question, it's just another way of answering. It's saying, I'm going to take my reader through the journey of how, and then answer that question. Now you could say, I'm going to take my reader through the journey of how I mastered training my dog to produce the behavior that I wanted to see in my dog. So being able to define your book's purpose is the most important part. This is the primary part that is going to make your vision very clear about what you're going to be accomplishing in your book for the reader. So again, we are taking our reader on a journey of showing them how to train their dog well. Okay? So now the next thing, after getting the purpose of the book down, the next thing is we're going to make our table of contents. So this is one of my favorite parts of the exercise, because I've shown so many authors how to do this, and they just get so excited because their book just comes out. So before we write our table of contents, I just want to just kind of talk about a topic called aspirational identity. And so you can see here in this photo that you have the reader. It says that they are the hero. So sometimes we think that when we're offering something to someone that we're the hero, that we're saving someone. But we need to think about that we are somebody who is serving someone who is the hero of their own story. So just like a movie, we want to be able to see this reader as the main character of their own story, and they're going to be making some decisions along that journey. And so your job is to be able to give them this book or this knowledge and put it in their hands so that they can make some right decisions, okay? So you're trying to be able to create so much value that if that reader did not have your book, then they would sort of be kind of stuck in there's before and afters. So they would be stuck in a before state, that they don't have the knowledge that you would like to show them to be able to help them to succeed. So in your book, you just want to be able to establish that you are literally coming behind the reader and you're giving them this information, and now they have what they need to succeed. Okay? So as you can see in this photo, you've got before and after pictures. So along the journey of your book, you can kind of think of those arrows as little chapters of the book. And so that reader is going to go from before to after in chapter 1, from before to after. And then finally, at the very end of the book, they are going to arrive at the aspirational identity or whatever it is that they want to achieve by the end of the book. So that's really exciting. So let's just dive a little bit deeper now, practically in terms of making your table of contents. So what you want to do is you want to write down 10 to 12 points that describe that before and after journey that your reader is going through. And so, it's just what your reader understands after reading your book. So what I'll do is I will just have a big whiteboard in front of me, and I will think of all the things that surrounding a topic that I want to write about, and I will write them down on the board in a before and after style. And so it doesn't have to be in order. You will be ordering them, and you will see that there will be a progression, a natural progression, but right now you're just writing down the ideas. And so for every before, you need to have an after. And for every after, maybe you come up with an after picture. You're like, I know they're going to realize this by the end of the book, and you're just writing that down. Well, what does that person before realizing that? What does that before picture look like? And this will really help you. You'll see in terms of how it plays in terms of writing your whole book. And so, just for an example, we're talking about the dog training book. Maybe a before picture is, my dog doesn't listen to me. Now remember, this is the reader. So my dog doesn't listen to me. But after reading this dog training book, now the after picture is my dog is well trained. Okay, so we've got our before and after. Another example is I don't know how to create a schedule for my dog. And then maybe after reading your book, your reader now has a schedule that promotes a healthy lifestyle for their dog. So whatever it is that that the reader needs to understand or see or understand from your book, then those are the points that you're going to be writing and to bring success to your reader. So again, you're going to have about 10 to 12 points, and those are going to represent all of the chapters of your book. Okay. So now the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to refine that table of contents. And so what we're going to do is we're going to look at numbers 1 through 12 as if they're chapters, and then we're going to be writing the ideal name of that chapter. So for example, for number 1, I just wrote down a rough draft title name of dog commands. So that, remember, this is based on my first before and after, which says my dog doesn't listen to me, and now my dog is well trained. So we know that this chapter is going to have to do with something with dog commands. And then the second one, I decided to put a rough draft title name of creating a balanced schedule for your dog. So I'm going to go 1 through 12, and I'm going to write down that ideal chapter name that represents that before and after for the reader that I'm taking them through. Okay, so now after those are written, what we're going to do is we are going to refine those chapters, and we're going to really just take a look at what people are wanting to know regarding that chapter that you've named. So for example, for dog commands, what I'm going to do is I use a tool called Ubersuggest. And so this is a tool where you can look at what people are looking for on the internet, and it really talks about, the search volume in terms of Google, how many thousands of searches there are per month, and what people are actually putting into Google regarding a particular topic. So I put in dog commands on Ubersuggest. So just to kind of flip over, this is my search result screen, and then right here is the very first screen. I went back here. I put in dog commands, and then I put in search, and then it gives me a variety. It says dog commands is actually searched for 5,400 times a month. And so there's different keyword ideas, and so what you're going to want to do is go through those keyword ideas and just find out, is there, in terms of the title that I chose, is there a different way that people are referring to what I'm wanting to write about? Sometimes, we may refer to a very general topic that people, they may have a different word for, and there's maybe a more refined word, or maybe people are searching for what you're talking about in a different way, and it will really give you a different perspective, and maybe you just need to kind of tweak the name of that chapter according to what people are really looking for. Because remember, we're trying to make a book that is relevant and that really meets the needs of other people. And so we're really marrying what we know to what people are searching for. So you are going to go through all of your rough draft title names, and then you're going to refine them using that tool called Ubersuggest. So by the end, so for example, I changed my dog commands title to 10 dog training commands you need to know. People love numbers, and then I put creating a healthy daily schedule for your dog. So you're just refining it and making it nicer and more relevant. All right, you guys, so that is the end in terms of, we talked about how to write a book and writing a book that people are already searching for. So the main thing that we covered today was how to create the whole outline of your book. So if you guys want to join me for the next free lesson, you can go ahead and do that, and we're going to talk about how to write the rest of your book. So today we talked about defining your book's purpose, so making sure that you have a very clear vision of where you're going to take the reader from the beginning to the end of your book, so you know what to write. You're not going to get writer's block when you know where you're taking someone. The next thing we talked about was making your table of contents, and finally refining your table of contents. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Jenna Drake Garcia with Self Publish Professionally, and I hope you have a wonderful day.